Hi there, my name's James Linton and I'm an expert in email threats. Specifically, I focus on how people are tricked into doing things which a scammer can profit from. I created this training system because the threats out there are very real, and this is exactly how I would try and pass on just the useful stuff to my family and friends to help them be safer. An email lands in your inbox. Without fail, you will notice who it's from. And that's perfect, but what isn't so perfect is email. That's because the from part of an email can never be 100% trusted. That includes the name it says and the email address too. But the reality of the situation is the whole industry has been trying to fix the problem for many years now. The problem being scammers can pretend to be someone else so they can trick us. Is it a big problem? Reported scam losses over a recent 4-year period total 26 billion, and it keeps on climbing. The scammers on the end of these emails are a mixed bunch at best. They range from one dude and a laptop using it like a dodgy get-rich-quick scheme, to those who work in teams and are a lot more organised and experienced. So what do these scammers want from you? It's quite simple, anything they can make money from, just like in the non-cyber world. The top 3 things which they want from you are money, logins and data. And they will try and get these from you by tricking you into believing they are someone, person or service that you trust. Email helps us be productive because it allows us to ask things and to do things. And there are 4 types of things you can do, and you'll already know them well. First up, we have the ability to click on a link, which usually ends up with you being asked to sign in. Next, a classic, the ability to make a payment. Third, can you open or download an attachment? And lastly, can you perform a task or an errand? So each email address you have is part of its own world. The most common worlds to be a part of are a personal email world and a work email world. Within these worlds there are humans and there are services, and services are just everything that isn't a human, for example social media, file sharing, online dating, your bank. These are all services you've connected with over time, bringing them into your world. Let's have a laugh at me and look at my personal email world. So there we are, we have my personal email address. I have the 4 do's, which we just talked about, and left of that I have things I can ask, and things I can ask could theoretically be anything I can dream up. As it stands, I have no one to do anything for and no one to ask anything. So let's add my girlfriend, because she's not here to stop me doing that. And for this, we will pretend that she does reply to me. So there we are, both chilling in our own little space in my personal email world. Now this is where the magic happens, and it's a bit like playing the card game Pairs or Patience. You know, the one where you match the cards up, but we're matching an ask with a do. Let's say I email her a link, asking have you seen this website. That perfectly matches up with her do of click link. And here there's no second sign-in stage, it's just a link to a website. Probably a page with hot sauces or something equally boring for her. So there I've asked her, and in theory at least, she will do. Moving up a gear and perhaps a little closer to home, if I email her asking her to pay a bill of mine as soon as possible because I've forgotten about it, that pairs with her do of making a payment. Seems unfair I'm doing all the asking here, so now let's say my girlfriend emails me to ask me to empty the washer. That would be a task or errand for me to do. I'm pretty confident at no stage during this would I have worried a scammer had just tricked me into unloading the washer. It would never have crossed my mind. But I'm not just mindlessly doing everything I'm asked. Well, most of the time I'm not. Thankfully, I have a little security team in my head, and you do too. It's always there, working quietly in the background, eating donuts, drinking coffee, looking for clues as scam is unfolding. If we return to the washer example, if that was reversed and I'd asked my girlfriend if she could unload the washer, then all sorts of alarm bells would have gone off in her head. Sure, she wouldn't have thought I was a scammer, but she would have suspected I shrank all the clothes and was attempting to frame her for it. So our internal security notices unusual behaviour, and every email you open will get a quick once-over without you even noticing, to check it's relevant and plausible. And yes to both of those will often mean you trust it. So to recap, scammers are specific about what they want from you, and money, logins and data are their favourite things. Asking and doing gives life to email. Forget the asking part, if you're doing the asking you're a scammer. It's your ability to do that's important. That's where all the risk lies for you. And everyone has their own internal security team. So being safer is really just putting their chairs upright, and giving them a few things to keep an eye out for. And that's the end of part 1. Welcome back and welcome to part 2. In part 1 we looked at my rather empty email world, which comprised of 2 humans and some washing. So let's add a service, a made up movie streaming provider. The biggest difference between humans and services is services can ask us to do loads of different things, log in, update payment info, view statements, but we can't really ask them to do anything at all. In fact, they often say don't reply. So this would be a more accurate way to view the relationship between a service and myself. They do all the asking and I do all the do's. Now, scammers are huge fans of impersonating services. Phishing emails, you might know these as. And they love them because there's so many to choose from and we're ready to do the things that they ask of us. Let's look at an example, a genuine email from everyone's favourite fictitious streaming provider, Primeflix. Now, Primeflix might email me to say my payment method has expired. Can I please click on the link in their email, log in and update my card details? Now that's a do worth stealing right there. And so a scammer will copy the design of the Primeflix login page, often exactly, and upload it to the internet at a web address that at a glance looks just like the real thing. It can be hard to spot, so look carefully at the address bar. Common tricks are adding a dash into it, using an uppercase I as an L, or even using a less common domain like .biz when you would have expected it to be .com. Login page ready, the scammers can carry out stage 2 and email me pretending to be Primeflix, asking me to click on their link, taking me to their fake login page. When I enter my login details into their fake page, they make a record of that, and if I update my card details, they'll take a copy of that too. Now, a scammer having a copy of my debit card details seems just about the worst thing that could happen online, so it's easy to brush past the fact that they have a copy of my Primeflix logins too. But that can actually be more damaging for me, as I'm about to explain. The scammers don't order in the popcorn, log into my account and part watch box sets, upsetting my personal recommendations. Their hope is that I've used the same email and password combination on other accounts that I have. It's the digital version of a scammer getting keys cut, lots of keys. And then they can try them out on social media platforms, email providers, banking, your Amazons, your eBay, and they can automate all that too. So let's recap. Please don't use one password for everything. We can all get caught out and sometimes it's out of your hands, such as a data breach which may expose your login details without you even knowing. Password managers are a good way of getting out of bad habits, but at the very least change them to be unique for each account. And stronger. Just 3 random words. Hamster cabin purple. I say that like it is my actual password. But Hamster Cabin Purple would give you a 19-character password which apparently would take 300 million years to crack. And on that bombshell, we've reached the end of part 2. I wouldn't be preparing you to protect yourself online from email scams unless we looked at your work email world. I think the work email world seems so much more complicated, but it all operates in exactly the same way as your personal email world. Scammers are extremely interested in the ask and do that goes on within a business. Microsoft, Dropbox, Outlook, Salesforce, QuickBooks, these are all great identities for a scammer to impersonate. But let's not forget that payments made by business can be for huge sums, and landing just one of these payments could set a scammer up for life. The CEO is the king/queen of asking. It's the role a scammer will most often adopt. Let's have a look at an example where a scammer pretends to be the CEO. First off, they get hold of the name and email address of somebody who works in accounts at a big corp. Then they find out the name of the CEO at big corp. With just those few bits of info, they can set up an email account using the CEO's name as the account name. Now all that's left to do is hit send. If they're lucky, somebody in accounts is now opening an email that looks like it's from their CEO. And it reads, "I need to make an urgent payment to a new vendor. What do you need from me to get that done?" There's already pressure because, hey, it's a direct request from the CEO, but it's also urgent. And all this pressure is being applied deliberately because scammers know it affects victims' decision making. Another reason why the CEO is so perfect to do the asking is that if you have a process in place for adding a new vendor and making a payment to them, the scammer can try and push that out of the way, and they will often say, "Don't worry about the usual paperwork, we can sort that out later." If it all goes to plan for the scammer, they just have to play it cool and provide bank account details and the amount to be paid. The victim in accounts might still be completely unaware of what's just happened to them, and it's horrible to think at some stage it will be noticed and they will have a really stressful time of it through no fault of their own. Okay, let's now hop into an actual inbox and look at a few examples nearly everyone will see at some point. This is an example of a very common email threat. Once again, the scammer chooses the CEO and they say, "I'm in a meeting and I need you to buy some gift cards to surprise the staffs. Can you get some in the next hour?" Staffs seems incorrect. I've just seen it used that often, I left it in. It shows the kind of things you want to start picking up on, these little glitches in the scammer's matrix. Our old friend the time limit is there again for pressure, and the scammer's other trick is to say it's a surprise, in the hope that you won't start loudly shouting around the office, when offices are a thing, about what you've been asked to do. Because somebody might say, "Hold on, that sounds like a scam." Or even, "Hold on, I've just bought those," because they can often fire these out to quite a few employees at the same time. A reply to this request of, "Sure, just let me know what to pick up," is their cue to send the details over. "I need 4x200 of iTunes or eBay gift cards. When you get them, carefully scratch the reverse off to reveal the pin and send me a picture." And I know plausibility is stretched a bit thin. All I can say is these are designed to come out of nowhere and drop into a busy day, and people do get tricked by them. And here's the scam concluding. The pins can now be exchanged for currency online in a matter of minutes, and it's pretty much untraceable. Okay, next. Okay, well this is awkward. Somebody's mixed their email worlds. As a threat expert, it would be negligent of me to not inspect the link. I didn't even know this was a thing. Some of those are European models. Best we move on, I think, and always do your best to never mix your work email world with your personal email world, as no good can ever come of it. Next, this is from Support Desk with the subject of unusual sign-in. Been around for more than a few years, this flavour of scam. It's basically the same as the PrimeFlex example. An email trying to get you to a page where they can steal your email and password. An email like this works because the details they show are only there to make you go, "Oh Jesus, that wasn't me." So you're primed to solve what is a potential problem. This one is low-level cunning, as it adds some indirect pressure by including the line of, "If this was you, we'll trust similar activity in future." So now not acting has a consequence. Ignoring it means you've just okayed a scammer to log in whenever they want, or at least that's what they want you to think. Next. McDockey Share. Man, I love and trust those guys. Oh, there's another email from them. McDockey Share okay? This looks really wrong. There's no way that email address is legit. If you were rushing though and click the link, the page it goes to looks believable. This highlights an important point. Clicking on a link isn't always an instant disaster. At any stage after that you can get cold feet or question again why you're about to log in or download a file. It's all about seeing the value in your actions and being careful with them regardless of when you're asked to use them. The final threat we're going to look at is ransomware. You might even have seen stories about it in the news. It was quite popular last year. It can take the form of an attachment to an email, or if you visit a malicious website, it can download onto your computer that way too. Once it reaches your computer, it's like a Tasmanian devil, and it hurtles off to cause as much mayhem as possible. If you're on a works computer, it legs it towards the servers, encrypting and locking files at a frenzied pace. If it isn't detected fast enough, all your company's data will be lost, locked away so you can't access it. Then the ransom part arrives. Pay X amount of Bitcoin or we won't unlock it. Sometimes they can't even unlock it, this is the weird thing. Or, they just take the money. It's a nightmare scenario, and some businesses have had to close for good, wiped out by a single attachment. And on that note, we've reached the end of the course. I hope some of it will be useful to you in future. Nobody, even me, can be completely safe from being tricked. But everyone can sharpen their skills and make some changes to prevent a small mistake becoming a massive cluster problem. Passwords, they are your locks. You can make them out of titanium, or you can make them out of wet spaghetti. So don't make it easy for them. Be the person that they just have to walk on by. Best time to make yourself more secure is when you don't have to. And it's easy, just click that forgot password link and you're halfway there. After passwords, just remember everything in your inbox is safe until you're doing something. So just get used to acknowledging when you're clicking a link or entering your details or making a payment. Raise a little eyebrow maybe, it doesn't matter as long as you see these things are valuable. And lastly, at work, processes make a big difference. Know why you don't break them, because that's when bad stuff happens. It doesn't even have to bring everything to a standstill. A quick call, quick text, that can remove all the risk. Cheers everyone, hopefully we'll catch up again soon.